Hi and welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're not. I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe and sane in these crazy times we're still in. It's been a while since I've done anything, I realise that. We've been and still are in another lockdown here in the UK, which of course comes with homeschooling to fit in. And also we've had Christmas. Oh, and I took up a new hobby last year and I've kind of probably been focusing a bit too much on that, or perhaps more than I should. I don't know. I'll tell you about it one day. Um, Now, in my last video, I mentioned how a lot of us have been working from home more, and businesses have quickly become accustomed to doing so, and they've had to. And I said I'd do a short series of videos looking at how we can integrate with some collaboration tools and make that kind of working away from the office a bit easier. Particularly focusing on Microsoft Teams. So just to take you back, the last video I did, I think it was October now, the last video I did was how we can initiate a chat from a UI macro, a little icon, on the incident form. I'm pretty sure it was an incident form. It's been that long they've revoked my personal development instance, so I couldn't check. It wasn't very fancy, but perhaps it's been useful. I know there's been a couple of comments in that particular video that people have used it and have looked at it, so that was great. But in this video, we're going to look at how we can post a channel message to Microsoft Teams from ServiceNow. Why would we bother doing that? Well, in this example we're going to do, we're going to be a resolver group in ServiceNow. And we want to know or be notified when an incident is assigned to our queue. We don't really like looking in ServiceNow. We're a resolve group, why should we? And we prefer to kind of chat with our friends on Microsoft Teams, so that's probably the best place to let us know an incident is in our queue, right? So we're going to do that. Slight bit of sarcasm there, but we're going to do that and see how we get on. But before we get started, if you are new around here and yet to subscribe, please go ahead, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video just like this one. Okay, so let's have a look what it will take to set up our configuration. So key components, obviously we need ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams. What we're going to do in ServiceNow, there's different elements we need to set up. So we're going to use Flow Designer. We're going to need the Integration Hub plugin, and we're also going to need a Microsoft Teams Spoke as well. Now, I'm going to do this demo on Quebec. If you haven't yet upgraded to Quebec on your PDI, do so. The Flow Designer interface you'll see in a minute is very slick and modern. I really like it actually. But what I noticed in that, I didn't need to install Integration Hub. All I need to do was activate the MS Teams Spoke. So we'll see that in a minute. We're going to use a webhook URL, which is given to us by Teams when we set up our configuration in Teams. And on the Teams side, we're going to need to create a channel, and we need to add an application called Incoming Webhook. And just so to give you, this is high level view, a bit more detail. These are the steps that we're going to go through. So activate our plugin, create a flow on Flow Designer, and it's going to be a really simple flow. We're going to add a trigger and add an action. And on Microsoft Teams, like I said, we're going to create a channel and we're going to add our application to that. And the output is going to be a message which ServiceNow will send to that channel with some information that we either tell it or we just use the defaults, and it'll look something like it does on the right hand side. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so let's set it up. So the first thing we're going to do the Microsoft Teams side first, I think. They're both really easy to set up. It's just I'm going to do this because we need something to put into ServiceNow. So this is Microsoft Teams, which I'm hoping you're all familiar with. If you've clicked on this video, chances are you are. So we need to either use an existing channel or create a new channel within a team that we're an owner of, I guess. So I could use general, but I'm not. I'm just going to create a new channel. Why not? So we're going to say add channel. I'm going to call it ServiceNow Demo. Sounds good. Now from here we need to add an application to that channel. Now we could do it one of three ways that I know of. There may be more. If you right click here, typically you have an option here that says connectors, or it might say something like application. This is a personal account for Teams that I've got, so I don't have that option. Maybe it's only there when you're a member of an organisation and you've got that access, I guess. If you did see connectors when you right click there, if you were to click on these three icons here, you would also see connectors. It's the same options. I don't have that, so I need to go to apps bottom left, and we need to look for an app that's called Incoming Webhook. So we go into that, and we want to add that to a team. More specifically, we can add it to a channel within a team. So let's pick the channel, ServiceNow Demo, the one we've created, and we're going to set it up. And we're going to land on this page here. There's not a lot for us to do here. In fact, we can't do much here. We need to give the application a name, so we call it, I don't know, ServiceNow Chat. No, we won't call it ServiceNow Chat. Should we just call it ServiceNow Demo? Yeah, let's go for ServiceNow Demo. Same as the channel name. We could change the image as well if we want something a bit more fancy. We're not going to do it. We're going to keep it simple. So click Create. Now the key thing here is it's going to give us our webhook URL, this thing here, right? So we need to keep that. So we copy it to a clipboard name. We need that. All right, so I've copied that. That's important. So we're done. Now we can head over to ServiceNow and make sure we're set up on this side as well. So one of the things I mentioned right at the start is we need Flow Designer. We're going to use Flow Designer. Integration Hub, we need that. But we also need the Microsoft Teams spokes. Now this is Quebec instance. We already have Integration Hub. We already have Flow Designer. Have we got the spokes? What you can do, again, this is Quebec. If we go to plugins, we can check whether we have MS Teams installed or not. So if we type in Teams, it shows us down here, and this one stands out actually, it's Integration Hub Starter Spokes here. Now, this wasn't installed with Quebec before. I had to come in and install this earlier. But you will see it will say install/update, and you'll be able to click on that. And it tells you here that this installs the MS Teams spoke. So click on that, get the starter spokes. If you're not on Quebec yet, check whether you got the spokes installed already. If not, I think it's the Integration Hub application installer you need to put in. Yeah, I think it's that one. Okay, so how do you check whether you got the spokes installed or not? Well, I'll show you very quickly. So we're going to go and create our flow. Flow Designer. Again, I say this in Quebec. I've already mentioned I like the new interface. Just look how it looks. Look where they're going with the interface here. It's very slick, very new. So we're going to create a new flow. We're going to call it ServiceNow MS Teams Demo. We're not going to put anything in here. We're going to keep it really simple. Again, the interface, check it out. Right, so we need a trigger. So we're going to do this when an incident's updated. So we're going to say the trigger is when a record is updated. Which record? Well, the incident. And what's updated about it? We're going to say the assignment group changes to application development. We're going to be a member of the app dev team today. So when an incident's updated and it's changed to application development assignment group, then do what? Well, we want to create an action. So we click this, we click on action, And it shows us here, this is where I said, how do you know if you've already got MS Teams Spoke installed? It will show down here, installed spokes. It'll be one of these. And here we can see Microsoft Teams. If you're not too familiar with spokes and what they are, I have done a video previously on this, which I'll drop a link in the description. And I talk roughly around, I put in layman's terms what a spoke is, right? So essentially, it's an application with a bunch of actions that we can use within Flow Designer. So here's our spoke application, and these are the actions that it comes with that we can play with. So we're going to use this one, post incident details, and it adds that to the flow that we've just created. Now in here, this webhook URL, this is where we copy the URL that we had from MS Teams when we set up the app. Now, what information is it going to post, or what's the entity it's going to post about? Well, that's an incident, because we've said it's going to trigger on an incident, and this is an incident action. So we need to pick the incident or an incident. So we go for the data picker, trigger, it's the trigger record we want. Okay, the title of the message, what should we do? Let's give it, we don't need to change this by the way, but we're going to change the title to be the incident short description, just for fun. Additional message, let's go for the description of the incident. Where is it? There it is. Description. We could also override default fields, so it's going to come with a set of default fields which will display in Teams on like a card that you'll see in a minute, and we can change the color as well, the general color theme of what we want it to look like. And maybe you want to go with some company branding. I'm not going to change anything there. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Click done. Save. And we'll activate. Now, I've done a few videos on Flow Designer before, and I've shown you the test functionality. So here I could click that test button we can see, and I could initiate it based on a record, but I'm not. I'm just going to go and find an incident, and we're going to change the assignment group. So let's do that now. Let's go to incident. We're just going to pick an open one, change the assignment group, I think. We'll go with, let's pick a good one. Oh, we'll go with the top one. And we'll change, should we put something in here? Test description, so it shows up. Change it to application development, and we'll click save. So essentially, we've fulfilled the conditions for that flow to trigger, which the flow will now, of course, trigger, and it will set that action in motion. And with any luck, we'll have a message on Teams. And there we go. So we now have a message on Teams, which appears like it's come from ServiceNow Demo. Remember, that's the application that we added to the channel, and that's what I called it. It's given us the title here, which is obviously the short description, and it's given us some additional information, which was the description I put in, test description. These are the default fields that it brings through as well, so you can add more to those if you want to. The beauty of this is that when we click on View Incident in ServiceNow, it will launch us and take us to that incident. Okay, so this is more of a communication piece, or at least it's allowing, in this instance, it's allowing us to message out from ServiceNow to notify a particular team that an incident's gone into their queue. And that can be very powerful, I think, because not everyone sits there looking at their email. Emails are kind of dwindling away, in my opinion, in recent times. And and some teams don't sit there and look at ServiceNow all day. Although we would love them to do it, it would make our lives easier, I'm sure. But we all collaborate and we all chat. And if you're an MS Teams user, getting this pop up, it's there, it's immediate, it's kind of in your face, so you're going to act on it pretty sharpish. Okay, so that concludes our demo for today. So let's just quickly recap. So we've used Microsoft Teams and ServiceNow. We've set up a new channel in Teams. We've added an application, a webhook, incoming webhook application to Teams. We've used that web URL. We've created a flow in ServiceNow with a trigger on that when the assignment group is updated, it triggers the flow, and it initiates an action which is part of the MS Teams spoke, which uses that webhook URL I mentioned, and it posts a message onto Teams. If there's anything you want me to expand on or do different topics or want me to go into a bit more detail in future videos, please drop some comments below. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Don't forget to keep an eye out for next videos. I promise they won't be 2 or 3 months apart. I do have one more MS Teams integration video to do, which will be coming in the next couple of weeks. The last thing to say is, thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks.